Hi, welcome to Diamond Custom Paint Shop. In this video, we're going to be doing some edging slash pinstriping using Limeline's vinyl tape. So let's jump right into the action here. I didn't do an intro video on this because this is an ongoing project and I didn't do intros to every little section that I was doing on this. So we're just going to jump right in here and I'll start kind of explaining what I'm doing. So the first thing I did on this was that you can see those two tape marks on the very top. I found my center of the mailbox, and then I was able to take my measurements off of those center marks to lay out those lines, kind of going down the side there. Then you measure off the sides, obviously, to get your measurements, your width of your lines there. So I already started kind of laying these lines out. Now I'm just doing the tips of these lines, kind of measuring out with a ruler to get them all equal. So they're pretty close, from side to side and from one side of the mailbox to the other, so it looks nice and uniform. One tip I have when you're using vinyl tape, like the fine line from Limeline, when you're pulling your lines, try not to put too much tension on your tape and stretch it. You just want to kind of pull it out, relax it, and then lay down your lines. Because what can happen is you'll lay down your line if you got a stretch in it. You'll make a turn, and then over time, a few minutes, that tape will try to shrink up and it'll pull your curves off. I mean, it's going to happen once in a while. A lot of times I put some safety tape on the corners and kind of rub them down real good so they kind of stay. But yeah, safety tape on the corners until you're ready to do your edging is the best bet. And I'll show you in a little bit how you can kind of fix them if they do pull up. Okay, now I'm going to start to lay out the design on the back. Now this is where we're going to do more of a kind of a pinstriping effect rather than the edging effect. Now I'm going to put my logo in the center on the back of this. It's a 3-inch wide. So here you see I'm going to kind of start to go. Then I'm going to mark out, my circle for my logo so I can, do the tape around it, my pinstriping effect around it. As you can see, we did a little bit of edging. Then we're going to break out into some more of the pinstriping effect. And you can do as much of this pinstriping as you want, as fancy as you can get. You can even look at some pinstriping videos that was actually done with a pinstripe and try to match it with the fine line tape. You can get the fine line tape in different widths, like 1/16, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. So there's a lot out there to work with. Here you see I'm just going down, matching each side the best I can. You can peel this up and put it down a couple of times to fix your problems if you do have any problems. If things don't match up quite exactly from side to side, you can peel it up and redo it. And there you saw I kind of use little pieces of masking tape a lot, like the 1/4 inch masking to do my measurements off of, to just make little marks on it, make a little ruler out of it, to get measurements from side to sides on a lot of stuff. I'm not getting too fancy with it, just a basic design here. Now I'm working on the front, where I'm going to do a little bit of edging, and then we're going to do a Sunray on the front here. As you can see in a little bit, we'll tape out for the Sunray, and then we're going to paint it, do some candy gold over top of it. Now, when you're laying out multiple lines, you can always use, a piece of this, whatever size gap you want in between the two lines. Kind of place that first, and then place your second line next to it to make it perfect. Like if you're going to do a customer's project, I would probably do it that way. Matter of fact, that's how I do it when I'm doing a customer's project, to get everything nice and perfect. But for this project, just a mailbox for display, so I'm not too worried about it. In the end, when you do edging, it's really hard to tell if it's not perfect. You you got a lot of leeway there when you do it. Here we're just doing laying out for like the sun at the bottom there, and then we'll lay out marks for our sun rays. After we edge out this bottom little panel here. Okay, here we got some black base coat by Lime Line loaded up in the airbrush, and we're just going to start edging all these lines out. What you want to do is you just want to aim for the tape and let the overspray spray off to the sides of the tape, and then just keep doing your passes over it until it gets to the darkness you want. One tip I have, you usually will want to go darker than you think when you're doing it on metal flake with the black to get real good crisp lines. And there you see my safety tape on some of those corners. We'll pull those off kind of when we get to them, get close to them, we'll pull those off. Just a note that I didn't mention before, that center section there, the inside section that I laid out there, that's going to be, that's laid out to put some silver leaf on in the end. And then it'll have the black edging on the outsides of the silver leaf. Okay, here in a second you're going to see in the bottom left corner where my tape kind of peeled up and when I pull my safety tape off, that very outside edge. Now how I fix this is I just splice a new piece in. I'll just cut out that piece, a couple inches or so on each side, and then just run a new piece around the curve. And yeah, just splice it in there. And here I'm just going to kind of go over everything again, get it a little darker, make sure it's nice and dark so it shows up nice and crisp when you pull your tape off. Okay, now we're done edging everything out with the black base coat. We're going to pull all of our tape. Okay, now we're going to start taping out for our Sunray on the front here. We're just going to tape along that inside edge that we built and then mask off on the outside of it. So we're just left with the inside where we're going to put the sun rays. Okay, and now we're going to mark the center of that little sun circle that we did and then mask that off. And then we're going to measure out on the sides all the way around, whatever distance you decide on. As you can see here, I'm just using a piece of masking tape that I, decided on the distance, and then just mark those out all the way around the edge. Okay, now we're going to take a piece of masking tape and go from the center of that sun circle to the outside edge. And we'll take our black base coat and just aim for the edge of that tape. Make you a nice faded edge, and then just keep working all the way around from the center of that sun circle to every point on that outside edge. Okay, now we got it all taped off that bottom panel. We're going to start spraying some gold candy over top of this. We're going to spray that whole panel. Just keep spraying coats on until you get the color you want. And voila, there you go. You have Sunrays. Pretty easy effect to do. That looks pretty awesome. Okay, well here's some final pics of the finished product here. Everything turned out pretty good, nice and dark, crisp lines like we wanted. Now keep in mind this isn't clear coated, so it's not as vibrant as it will be once you get it clear coated. Stay tuned for future progress on this project, and then I'll see you on the next one.